Sahi is an Indian actress and producer who is best known for her role as Maya in the 1992 movie Maya Memsab opposite Shah Rukh Khan. She made her directorial debut with the movie Teri Meri Feri in 2011. Besides this, she has produced 12 television series and is a promoter of Maya Entertainment Private Limited, one of India's leading animation studios.
I think those of us here in India who have studied cinema or been around for some time, I remember in 95 there was a movie with Mithun Chakravarti where these things only happen on the day you're getting married in Hindi films. So on the day he was getting married, somebody shoots him. So the idea is to discover who shot him. So Kader Khan comes up with a great idea. He says, "Sir," to Suresh Oberoi, remove his brain, put it in a deep freezer, put it into somebody who needs a brain. And once that person revives, he will tell you himself who shot him. And believe me, this was not done in a joke. This was not a farce. This was really happening in the movie. So Suresh Oberoi looks very serious and he takes off Mithun Chakravarti's brain, opens a oven-like thing which says deep freeze. And on a plate, he puts it in. And believe it or not, the girl he was going to marry gets into an accident. And guess what? Her brain has failed. So Kader Khan comes up with another idea. He says, "Sir, I'm going to say it in Hindi. Inke dil milte the, inke jazbaat milte the, inke armaan milte the, inke dimag bhi milega." Which means, they were in agreement with the heart, they had same emotions, they had same feelings, so now even their brains will match. So he looks very serious and he says, So he opens the deep freeze and he takes out the brain and cut to this girl wakes up as Amar, who says, who knows now who has killed me, him, whatever. Now the thing is in 95, I don't know how these things worked. Today we are cooked if we do anything like this. One of the biggest films like Amar Akbar Anthony, right? I don't know how many, it was a huge hit. There was a scene where it was a film on cultural unity. So there was a Hindu, Muslim and Christian, and the mother in an accident needed blood. So we actually have a scene where she's lying there and long, tubes of blood is coming direct from these three guys into a bottle which is going into her. And we were all overawed as kids, wow. But today we are going to be killed. I don't know today everybody, as you say, every Tom, Dick and Harry has become a critic. And I remember Intel, one of the guys telling me that when they launched the Pentium 3 chip, I think in 99 or something, everything was fine. All the things were shipped out. Till one small vendor kind of discovered an error in the chip, which would have emerged only if you launched 20,000 spacecrafts, which I don't think anyone would with one chip. But the fact is he published it on his blog or whatever called Tom's Hardware, and that spread like wildfire. And Pentium had to withdraw all the chips and they lost $450 million because of one guy's blog. And today we are in the same position, where people, I don't know why and how cinema is consumed and perceived, but I assume, like every other information, one half of it is from the right hemisphere and one half of it is from the left hemisphere. So yes, we have a lot of suspension of disbelief, but even Spider-Man has to say that this genetically modified spider bit me, for us to believe that he became a Spider-Man. Or Superman had a kryptonite. So we need to believe that there is some science behind the power. So in our case, where we are trying to do realistic kind of movies, where we are going to show like a woman delivered a child in an auto or whatever, we need to do our research. Otherwise, as an audience, I'm going to ask, my God, what if he gets tetanus? How is he going to cut the umbilical cord? And so on and so forth. So I think so far, before the internet, research was really a huge problem. It was all based on 6 degrees of separation. You call this one, who calls that one, who calls that one, and half your life is going in, trying to meet a lawyer or somebody or the other who's going to put some sense into what you're researching. I've personally gone to London and registered in British Museum Library and spent days trying to unearth information. After the internet, it did become easy, but it's still not really easy because sometimes we don't know what are we looking for, We probably will waste hours because we've used the wrong word, like I want affidavit, or I've used deed or something wrong word, and it's taken me 6 hours to realize that, the information is not going to be here, it's going to be there. And there's something about interaction which is still missing. Maybe with VR it might become easy, but currently we don't have that interaction with the internet. So I think what this organization is doing is really a godsend. And I've been speaking to Vanita and her team, and they have promised to give me a kick-ass solution to my problems. And I think it's very, very, very useful today to have this kind of a, initiative.
I want to open this out to questions, but perhaps I can pick up to some extent on what you said there and ask a question. Can the media make a difference? I quite understand what you're saying there, and I think it's just as true in the UK. This problem of emotional illiteracy and the difficulty of not having those kind of support networks that families traditionally used to have. Can the media make a difference to this situation, or is the media part of the problem? And if it's the latter, then what can we do as a group of interested parties to do something about that? Anybody got any thoughts on that question?
I don't think civilization is one fixed entity. I mean, it's perpetually evolving, and this interaction has to carry on. On a lighter note, I would say, Vinita, the only thing you're going to do is kill my favorite scene, which is when the doctor would say, in a hill station, le jao. Every time somebody was ill. So we used to see all these lovely shots of the snow and the mountains where you would discover love. Now that is dead. Now some doctor will say, no, this is schizophrenia, give him this thing, that thing. That's the only regret. No, but I'm joking. I think we need this interaction because knowledge is evolving. And new theories and new discoveries will constantly add to civilization, which is a growing organic thing. So I kind of disagree that we need to go back to something. I think we need to interact with the future and the past that we are.
Question to Deepa. You mentioned about the film Amar Akbar Anthony and various other medical wonders of the Indian film industry. Would it be worthwhile to have a medical expert appointed on the Central Board of Film Certification so that they absolutely ensure that in normal logical narrative films, such stupidities are not shown? I can understand fiction and science fiction and space research or anything mythological. But when the rest of the film is normal narrative, and suddenly the medical part is so ridiculous, it sticks out like a sore thumb. Should films be banned or edited on the basis of this?
Well, I'm one of those who actually doesn't believe in censorship. So my only answer to this is that maybe you're from the medical profession, so you feel that is the lag. Somebody from the legal will feel legal is the lag. There are hundreds and thousands of professions. And I think that is where the only censorship which makes sense is self-censorship. And organizations like what Vinta is trying here come in handy because there are hundreds of films with hundreds of misrepresentations. And even if your only God is not to change the society but the box office, today even for your own survival, you need to do that tightrope walking between fact and fiction. And for that, your research does become essential.